Hi, I'm Kara Thorsen from yogaequanimity.com, and today on Meet the Resistance I thought we'd talk a little bit about a progressive practice and a progressive teaching. One of the hardest things for me, or one of the most difficult things for me when I first started teaching, was how to figure out how to bring my practice back down to the level of what I was teaching, because I had become accustomed to my practice being where it was. So I would look at the class that my teacher had set for us, and I thought, oh my God, there's no way this is going to be enough for them. You know, they're going to need more, but they didn't need more. They needed a beginner practice for beginner students. And that's sometimes really hard for us to understand when we see ourselves one way and we find out that everything works. Everything works. And so what stimulated this idea was that there's, when people go to the Olympics, they didn't spend just a couple months training. They've spent a lifetime investing into that. That's their life's work. That's everything that they do, every choice that they make. It's to get there. And yoga somehow has become this easy access to something grand. And it's got a lot of different modalities out there. And there's nothing, or at least for me, there's nothing about yoga that's been easy for me. The only thing that's been easy, I guess, is to just stick with it. But it has had its obstacles and its obstacles in the road. And what am I trying to get to? I'm trying to get to the difference between a discipline and an activity, I guess, and that it's progressive. Our teaching becomes progressive, and we learn to teach to more advanced practitioners, or we bring it down so that our level of teaching is skilled enough that we can actually teach to a beginner as well. For instance, I went tango dancing with a friend of mine this weekend, and it was a practica. Now, last time I took a tango lesson was about 25 years ago when I was in New York City, so it was essentially like I'd done nothing. And I get out there and someone asked me to dance, so I go out and I go dance, and they're throwing me around as if I'm supposed to know the moves that I'm supposed to do, and then they start shouting at me everything that I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm like, hey, this is my first time. So then they want to give me a whole lesson, and this is fine too, but I still wasn't understanding their lesson because I don't have the basic moves down. So I was in over my head, and I got someone else in over their head. But as a leader, I only had one partner that day that as a leader, he brought his skill of dancing down to my skill of dancing. So then it made it a lot easier for me to understand what he wanted from me. And when we get into yoga, there we are, full circle. When we come to a yoga class, we have to be sure what our skill level is. Are we a skill level that's intermediate? Are we a skill level that is beginner? Or are we a skill level that is advancing? And these are important things to know, not just for yourself, but for the respect of everyone in that room, so that the practitioners who have done their time and are advancing in their practice aren't held back because you've decided you wanted to be in a class that was inappropriate for your level. And as a teacher, you've created unsafe circumstances for them to teach in. So, I mean, for me, I got in over my head. It was a dance, it was a practica, so it was okay. But in a class where individual attention is necessary and security is paramount, we have to be sure that we respect yoga and the tradition of yoga, the discipline of yoga, and not think, okay, I've done a couple classes, bang, I'm going in, I can do whatever I want. Because it's not the same, and each class is not the same. So maybe you go to an advanced class in one region, or in one class or one studio, where you are considered an advanced practitioner and you are doing these full range of motion poses. But then you'll come to an Iyengar class and you come in and you're an advanced practitioner, and we see something totally different because of how we're taught and how we're trained. And so we have to understand where our bodies are. And I'm struggling to get this through, I know, but I wish we could just understand that yoga is not an activity, it's a discipline. And if we're going to look at any kind of skill in action, we have to attribute that to yoga as well, because Rome wasn't built in a day, and your practice needs to be steadfast. Voila. So meet the resistance, and I'll talk to you soon.